2 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, this is Phil Grigsby here. I'm one of the forecasters here at the Slidell office. We have one of our student summer volunteers with us today, Taylor. She's going to be shadowing us. If you want to just say hello real quick.
Hey guys.
Yeah, so she's a Mississippi State student, and she will hopefully be in the weather service soon in the next couple of years as she finishes up. So welcome, Taylor. She'll be with us throughout the summer here. So, hello, Taylor. There you go. All right, cool. All right, so now we'll go ahead and dive into the actual briefing. So the biggest thing to talk about over the next few days here is that we do have a marginal risk of severe storms across the region today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Where somebody flipped a switch basically over Memorial Day weekend, and now we're in summer mode. And we all know that. It was hot over the weekend, and now we're just getting these typical pulse severe storms to pop up. They don't last very long, but they can produce some gusty winds, some hail, and some locally heavy downpours like we saw yesterday and today. And that's going to be the trend over the next few days here. And honestly, even beyond Saturday, we're still going to be in the summer pattern. So as we go into next week, Sunday all the way through next Thursday, we still have the same risk of storms popping up each day. You can count on it basically from 10 to 8 p.m., 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're going to maybe have a risk of something popping up over your location. Tied in with that, of course, there is the marginal to slight risk of excessive rainfall. The slight, they expanded it down to cover portions of Southwest Mississippi and portions of the North Shore for today. And then this marginal risk stretching down towards New Orleans area. That could produce some localized flash flooding. And then marginal risk of excessive rainfall continues tomorrow and Saturday for all of Southeast Louisiana and Southern Mississippi, really. So just something to kind of keep an eye on as we get these brief heavy downpours to develop. So here's the severe weather outlook for the rest of today into tonight. Honestly, like I said, this is pulse convection. So really by 8 p.m., the threat should be over. We're kind of worked over across the North Shore, New Orleans, with all the convection we had this morning and into early this afternoon. So the main concern is going to be the areas that haven't really seen thunderstorm activity, which is going to be up towards Baton Rouge and portions of Southwest Mississippi. The highlighted area is really just from Wilkinson, West Feliciana, and Point Capee, but don't be shocked if you see maybe a stronger or potentially severe storm even over towards East Baton Rouge Parish and West Baton Rouge, those areas. Just because you guys haven't been worked over yet. And the typical stuff with the severe storms, we could get some wind gusts over 60 miles an hour at times, maybe some large hail up to around an inch in diameter, and of course, locally heavy rainfall. As we go into tomorrow, the isolated severe weather threat expands basically across the entire CWA. They don't include Pascagoula, but you folks in eastern Jackson County, just say that you have the same risk. Really, honestly, it's just isolated stuff that's going to pop up. Again, the same threat as today. A few spots could see some winds over 60 miles an hour, some large hail, maybe up to around an inch in diameter, and heavy rainfall. And again, the highest threat is really going to be between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. This is our classic summer pattern that we're in right now. Saturday, they did pare back the isolated severe threat to more over just Southwest Mississippi and really portions of Southeast Louisiana, generally north of I-12. That doesn't mean that the areas where it's more general outlook thunderstorms won't see a pop-up severe storm try to develop. Can't rule it out, but the highest probabilities right now do look like they're going to be further to the north. And again, between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. It's really a rinse and repeat type of pattern that we're in. Each day is really going to be similar to the one before. As far as the excessive rainfall outlook goes for the rest of today, the Weather Prediction Center did expand the slight risk down to the south, like I mentioned earlier, to cover all of Southwest Mississippi and portions of the North Shore. But honestly, the way I look at it is, we're going to have locally high rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour, potentially across the whole area. I'm not sure why they put the slight risk all the way down to our area. It's going to be the more typical street flooding concerns that we see. The marginal risk, really, they could have expanded it into New Orleans because there was street flooding earlier today. So just being honest there, just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Be prepared. You might have some isolated street flooding concerns really across the entire CWA or county warning area, basically, for the entire afternoon today. Just keep an eye on things as the storms develop, and we'll keep you apprised if we see anything that looks like it's going to cause any flooding. Tomorrow, they really highlighted the area that was up to the northwest towards, Macomb and Baton Rouge. But the issue there, again, like I just mentioned, is you could have storms that pop up closer to the coast that could also cause street flooding. So the highest threat is going to be up there to the northwest. But if you're in New Orleans or Gulfport or Slidell or down towards Houma, you can't rule out the threat of maybe seeing some isolated street flooding in your locations as well. Just keep that in mind as we're in this summer pattern. And Saturday into Saturday night, a little more reflective of what we could see. They did expand the marginal risk across pretty much the northern half of the CWA. Again, if you're down in New Orleans on the South Shore, down towards Houma, you can't rule out the fact that there could also be some isolated street flooding issues for you guys as we get these 1 to 2 inch per hour rainfall rates to occur. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, rinse and repeat cycle each day. Between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m., there's going to be the risk of some scattered convection firing up and causing some issues. So really, as we go through the rest of the week, like I mentioned earlier, from Sunday through Thursday, it's going to be the same pattern that we're seeing today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So I just want to emphasize that. They don't really have anything outlooked because the probabilities are so low, but just keep that in mind that we're in this summer pattern. You're going to get isolated storms that pop up and they could cause some damaging winds, some hail, some heavy downpours that could cause some street flooding. We are in our summer pattern. As far as going into late next week and next weekend, it looks like we're going to be seeing continued above normal temperatures, kind of leaning above, maybe about a 40 to 50% probability of seeing above average temperatures. And it actually does look like the high pressure system may start to build back over us a little more dominantly as we get into next weekend. And so it's going to help dry us out a bit. So we're actually looking at maybe more like near normal to even slightly below normal precipitation as we get into next weekend. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So maybe kind of like what we saw over Memorial Day, where it was just hot and humid and muggy, but not much in the way of rainfall. So that's a pattern shift that we may see as we get into next weekend. So that's it as far as the quick summary here. Again, there's that risk of seeing an isolated severe storm pop up today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And really that continues from Sunday all the way into Thursday too. And the excessive rainfall, we could have these locally high rainfall rates, 1 to 2 inches per hour that could cause some street flooding issues. Kind of welcome to summer. That's all I can say. So I'll go ahead and pause the recording here real quick. And if anybody has any